Welcome. Yeah, that was a good check there while running. While running. Welcome to 40k Fanatics. We're recording this on Friday evening, and you should have already got your pod. We need you to get in the comments, get in the reviews, and tell us off. Tell us off.
We just got out of the warp. We took a little bit of traveling and came out a little late from it. So.
Man, I've been all the way deep in the warp. I moved. I bought an entire house. I paid cash.
Are you opening the bits box right now?
I'm opening the bits box. Crank it open. That's how the front door of my new house sounds.
No,
I'm gonna have to find some 3-in-1 oil.
You like the house though?
It's you know what? It's a lot of room. It's really nice. It was hard. I tell you what though. Pro tip, everyone. I have too much junk, and it's all smalls. You know, you're hobbying things and stuff. You can't just be throwing that in big boxes and chucking them into the van, right? So what I did is I splurged for the extra $20 for the biggest U-Haul that they rent. So I was able to lay all my crap out flat, like I was going to have a yard sale, in the yard, because I was like, I got to move all this by myself. I don't want to stack it, and that worked out pretty well. Get to the new house with the U-Haul. Got the buddy to move the 3 solitary unwieldy things that I own, and
was it like an armoire?
No, it's like my hobby cabinet, right? It's heavy, but then there's like the mattress and there's a desk and just stuff that is cheap. It's not even heavy. It's just you can't by yourself,
move
wrestle it. Yeah,
or you'll drag it.
Yeah, it's just brutal. Moving sucks is the moral of my bits box. But so we get there and it's going to be a straight shot. I've backed the thing up into the yard. Just could not quite get the ramp onto the front porch. You know what I mean? And then I realized I don't have a key for the front storm door.
No!
So we went to the hardware store and bought a crowbar and busted in that joker. I was surprised the police did not come by.
You broke into your own house.
Had to break into my own house. Now that door is permanently ajar. At some point I'll have to take it off and turn it back into a door. But those are next week's problems. I've also played 5 piano gigs. So my hobbying sits, since the last time that we worked, at a grand total of 0 models built, painted, messed with.
Well, because you finished, we've said it before, you finished up your pile of shame. You're done, right?
I did, however.
So you're buying MCP stuff to get going.
Yeah. Well, all the MCP stuff that I currently have is painted, and it looks lovely, and the game is really fun. I don't know if we talked about how good the game is, but maybe sometime when we do other than 40K, we can discuss that. However, we got a lot of 40K news for you today. The balanced Dataslate came out, and there are changes to not just armies, but core rules, too. That's going to be our main topic today.
Just the core rules or everything?
Everything. There's army changes, there's core rule changes, and I'm going to go over, I've got a short list, and we're going to touch on them.
I'm excited.
Are you?
I'm fairly excited, yeah, because we have so many friends playing armies that were good in 9th, but are absolutely garbage in 10th, and my heart goes out to them.
Yeah, and my guys are pretty good, so it's kind of like I don't know what you all are talking about. Now, next week, I expect to have something for you guys in the Bits Box because friendly local game store Gamers Haven has got in a few choice selections of Chaos models for your boy.
You don't say.
One of them might be a Wild Wild West crab machine.
What are you talking about?
Going straight to the Wild Wild West.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the Defiler, man.
Oh, I love that model.
And isn't that a great movie, too?
Yeah, that model's so dope.
It's so dope. I
grew up watching that model on YouTube.
I'm going to put caution stripes on his Peats because you wouldn't want anybody to get hurt around that thing.
Can you even buy that on the Games Workshop store?
I mean, they got it at Gamers Haven right now. It's in.
Yeah, I know. I've never seen one for sale. All I'm saying.
They got me that, and I'm slow by him because I just bought this house, and now I'm
I understand,
broke boy.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna grab him tomorrow. Me and the homies are gonna play the Gaslands. We're gonna play with the Hot Wheels tomorrow at noon, and I'm gonna pick up the Defiler. But then they also got me the Chaos Lord, not in Terminator armor, who has a neat ability that goes with people. And then, what else did they get? I wanted Cypher. I don't think they got Cypher.
Ooh.
But they did get a box of Possessed, so I'll probably pick that up. And, you know, like, I used to run a guitar shop, and what you would get is a whole lot of every quarter or every 6 months you have to order so much stuff to, like, keep the account open, right? And right now I can't just blow $300 on models all at once. But
fair.
But I reached out to the Gamers Haven. I was like, hey, no rush, but when you order some stuff, these are the things that I'd like to have, you know?
Did they order it or for you, or did they just have it already on order? And they were like, oh, we got the order.
Well, it's like I say, they got to get some stock anyway. Might as well get some stuff that somebody wants.
Somebody who's interested. Okay, yeah, so it's not sitting on a shelf.
Right, so it's not just... And also, like, it's hard to keep Defilers, Possessed... Chaos stuff in general in stock.
Because they're hot right now.
They're hot and they're cool, and even people that are just getting into the hobby,
you got me excited over.
You look at the Chaos stuff, and it's like it's metal AF, man.
It is. It's pretty cool.
That's my bit.
I can't wait to see how you're going to paint the Defiler.
Yeah, well, I'm going to do in black and gold. You know, a lot of times you see a lot of those demon engines done in red, like the Khorne Lord of Skulls, and I don't think I'm going to do that, but I am going to do.
Model.
I am going to do those caution stripes, and they may be magenta or something wild. And I'm going to ding them up all around the bottom too. I'm going to get my sponge out. I'm going to do my new, patented black.
Okay.
With all the volumes going on. So I think there's going to be a lot of stuff. Man, maybe I'll magnetize his arm, because I think he's got like a crab arm, and he's got a scourge or a scourge or whatever we're calling that tentacle thing. I don't know what all those options
are.
Oh, yeah,
the tendril thing.
Yeah. So maybe I'll stick some magnets in him. I do not know.
That is such a dope model, dude.
It's going to be great.
So cool.
I don't know if it's any good.
Yeah, fair.
But rule of cool above all for your
100%.
boy.
If it looks that cool and is that big, it's got to be good.
I played a game last week. I think it was Sunday. I played a game. We posted about it on X, and
it was really cool.
It was my Black Legion versus the Black Templars, black on black.
How'd that go for you?
And I got completely tabled.
Really?
Yeah.
What turn?
Like 4.
Really?
But. Well, I mean, I say I got completely tabled. I had like a model.
What was the score?
The score was 80-something to 40-something.
Not bad.
I scored early and often. But
good.
Yeah, but my rule of cool does catch me out sometimes in that way, because basically I have too many characters.
You're Hellbrute.
I have way too... Well, no, I took him out. I took him out
really?
with the balanced Dataslate. I ended up saving some points here and there, and in the league, the other day was not a league game, but I did change the list because of the points changes, and then I thought, well, I'll take it for a spin in this game, and so I took the Hellbrute out. He doesn't... I mean, somebody tell me, if you're smarter than me, how to make the Hellbrute work, but he don't work. He don't work.
What was it like fighting Helbrecht? How does he fare on the tabletop? I notice he has a Helbrecht. That's the main gold guy.
Yeah, so you know what happened is Abaddon ran up on that man.
I saw that. That is a great photo.
And he raised Drachnine high aloft and then cut him in two.
He didn't stand a chance?
He didn't stand a chance.
So you just got the charge, you hit him, and then he was just down.
DED dead. However... He did spend a CP to fight on death and killed a few of my Terminators. But at that point, I take Abaddon with 5 Terminators, and those dudes are chonky.
Man. We switching over to mine? Or
yeah, that's my bits box closed.
That's a hefty bits box, man. It's a hefty bits box. You got that bits box at Lowe's. That's what you did. So my bits box has been pretty full as well. I have been nonstop painting those Imperial Fists. Go to the Twitter or the Instagram or whatever to go check out the photos on them. They look really dope.
Look at the stars. Look how they shine for you. Because it was all yellow.
All yellow. Somebody call, what was his name, Chris Porter?
We're going to get copyright struck. That's the second time I'm saying in this.
So, really awesome. I love the bases. I'm really proud of the bases. The commission that I'm painting for said he wants it to be industrial bases. Looked up some videos, saw some pictures, kind of got a vibe of what he wanted, and I just painted the bases yellow, or I painted the bases black, and then did my normal dry brush gray. I also carved out sections of it and drilled small holes in it to make it look like, manufactured steel plating floors.
There's one right behind you? Do you have one handy? Because I don't think I've noticed the bases. Let me see one. Right, Casey's turning around because we're in the grimdark painting studio, which is brighter now. He got himself a light. Let's see here.
So what I did was I painted.
Oh, is that that's a piece of zip tie?
I did add zip tie because it looks like cabling. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool touch.
And you got your caution stripe tape out?
Yeah. What I did was I put in on sections of tapes that I'd cut to specific lengths and stuff, laid them down, and then I just stippled on yellow. And it came up looking pretty good because I'm used to doing it because my orcs have some stuff like that.
Yeah.
Other than that, they have been turning out pretty dope. I'm pretty happy with those.
Yeah, not to turn this into a painting pod, but before we started, Casey handed me one of these, and he was like, "Man, that yellow just goes." I said, the thing to me about yellow is that once it's yellow, it's kind of just done.
Fair.
Like, you could highlight this up and do this, that, and the other, but
I tried.
Once they're real yellow,
yeah,
it's like, bam, that's yellow. And you keep it moving. You
need something really, really bright, sticky outy,
Yeah.
Pomp.
And the red looks great. You got a mess of eyes to do.
Yeah, I do, and they're going to be blue. But other than that, I am excited with the reveals that happened at the Nova Open upon the, that we had a lot of new Dataslate stuff, a lot of new 10th news. I am super eager because I have a Flesh Tearers army, which you don't know is a Blood Angel successor. In the game, all I've heard from people across the board is Blood Angels are not good in 9th. But
we're in 10th now.
Or my bad, in 10th. They're not good in 10th. I've seen some people make it work, and they're using all firstborn, old-school jump pack models. Lots and lots and lots of them. Like a lot. And then I'm like, I literally thought, what, I'm going to buy me some of these. Add them to my thing because, they're never going to update these models. The next day, we get the reveal from the Nova Open. Jump Pack Primaris are here, and I am here for it. Raven Guard guys, Blood Angel dudes, freaking full melee Space Marines. All you guys are going to love these models because they look so cool. And I'm eager to see all you old heads who used to run Smash Captains because they revealed a Jump Pack Captain Primaris. So lots of Thunderhammers, lots of invuln saves, feel no pains, and jumping into the fray. Let's go.
And you know what else? I say play your Flesh Tearers because I don't think there's a bit in the meta right now where they're like combat isn't very good.
Yeah, and that's
melee's not good.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, in what context?
I'm play my Flesh Tearers.
Yeah, because it works fine when again, we did this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Don't play competitive 40K.
Yeah.
Go listen to it. It got some buzz. It got some buzz going.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to play my Flesh Tearers. We're just in 9th. Everything is new. Obviously, things are going to change. We just had the balance slate come out.
Yeah, and you know what? To the melee's no good in the current meta, I submit to you me getting absolutely trounced by your orcs week before last.
That was a good game. So, and on top of that, I played you with your Black Legion not that long ago, and I played a 1K game against the Tyranids, and ouch.
Didn't work out.
No, I won. But it was one more turn, I would have been tabled.
Yeah, man. I feel like that I'm having a lot of games that even when the points aren't close, it feels close.
Yeah.
Which is the best.
I had to score early, score fast, score hard, and I did, and I came out on top. Just weathered the storm, used
Cobra
my
Kai.
buffs, all of my invuln saves. You see my invuln saves. I got my WA banner. I've got my big mech with custom force field. Just buffing 20-man mob and holding that center objective. And I don't want to brag, but I did have a good game against you, beat you, and that was pretty dope.
Beat the briggity brakes off me.
Yeah, just destroyed Abaddon and all of his Terminators turn 1.
It was sad.
Thanks to my shooty orcs. But and that's pretty much my bits box. So I'm going to go ahead and close that bits box.
Shut it. Well,
so Shane,
we're at minute 15.
What are we talking?
Man, I hope I've got 30 minutes on this. But we're going to talk about the balanced data slate.
40K.
We're going to talk about the balanced data slate because as we are in the 40K content game, the real keystone of the arc of content comes whenever GW offers us new rules. That's the time.
Yep.
New additions,
rumors,
balances, erratas,
memes,
things like that. That's what really makes this entire thing go, and we got quite a bit of stuff. So I'm going to run through the list and talk about each thing briefly, but there's a few on here that we'll probably get quite bogged down in because they're more interesting, and we hope they're interesting to you. If we do not give enough time to your particular faction or point,
come at us.
Yeah,
come
or
on.
point of interest, then tell us how bad we suck.
Do it in the comments. Do it on our Twitter. Do it on our Instagram. Do it all that stuff. Come on.
Yeah. I invite all any and all criticism because.
So what's the first thing?
I are mud. Custodes got their unit size decreased.
I've heard about this.
So they had a weird thing where you could take this big block of whatever they are, some chunky Custodes dudes. And you can have a big old block of them, and they have a ridiculous save and a ridiculous feeling of pain. You put them with what's their guy's name?
Constantine Valdor.
Oh, is that no? It's not that guy. Trajan
Valoris.
Yeah, and you put them with Trajan.
Trajan is a beast on the tabletop,
and they were just completely indestructible. But also, I think it was something like 8 guys, but the box comes in 5, right? So you end up having to buy 2 boxes, and it was weird. So they've dropped it now to 4 or 5 guys is what you can take, which I like. I mean, not even so much from a balance
You're not
point.
losing out on models.
Yeah, I just like when the unit is the box that you can get. There was nothing more frustrating than in 9th, and I'm going to relate everything back to the army that I play because that's the one that I'm interested in. But the Obliterators, how you could take them 1 through 3, and if you wanted all 3, then you had to get yourself on eBay. Because they came in pairs.
And they came with the Venom Crawler.
Yeah, so I've been playing my Venom Crawler wrong. I didn't realize he had 2 Excruciator cannons in all these times I've been playing him. So I've been rolling 6 shots.
I've never fought your...
That mug's got 12 shots. And I'm like, man, I've just been out here, 1 Excruciator cannon tied behind my back.
We're still early in 10th, so...
On to the next thing. Points went all over the place.
Yes, I've heard a lot of people say, man, my list is shortchanged, especially on the Orc forums. I have to use everything I can to get to 2,000 points, and I am scared to update my app because I'm going to probably lose some stuff.
Yeah, no, you're in for it, man.
No!
So, the Aldari got some big points hikes. The state of the matter right now is people believe that the Aldari nerfs via points, which is largely the only thing that happened, is not going to be enough to dethrone them.
Okay.
From the top of the competitive meta.
You think time will tell?
No. I think that it's just going to be business as usual.
Okay.
The deal is those Wraith Knights and whatever that 2d6 damage gun is.
Ooh, yeah, I've heard about this Wraith Knight.
It's still just really, really good. However, if you run in 3, you've lost 1 unless you make some big changes because the points went up quite a bit.
In a pot of noodles because it is all cheese, right?
However, points did go down on a bunch of stuff too. They went down on your guys quite substantially. They went down on Militarum.
Really?
They went down on AdMech, and let me tell you. I think I told the story last week about how I walked up on the homie Dallas playing his indestructible Necrons against another guy's AdMech, and he had so many models. So many models. And from what I understand, talking to the homie Dallas the other day, he now has about 200 more points that he's got to stick on that thing.
Ooh.
And I'm like, I don't know how you even find that much AdMech. It's a sea. It is a sea of little skeletal-looking
and they don't die.
Cyborg boys. There are so many. I mean, and he's got the chickens, and he's got the little boats and everything, and I guess he's just going to add more chickens. I don't know my AdMech very well. They do have that one little
Onager Doom Crawler.
Yeah, the walker thing that looks like the top of an ATST with the bottom of
Honor Doomcrawl.
Yeah, with the bottom of the spider from Toy Story.
Yeah. Just like the little spider doll thing.
Yeah, the spider with the baby head.
Gosh, what do they call those? Like
we are so old. Do you know there's people that
we're so old? Nobody's gonna know what they are.
No, but everybody our age gonna know exactly what I'm talking about.
100%. Honor Doomcrawl is cool. Fun fact: they use an AdMech guy as a battery to run that thing. They just slap him in there.
Crazy.
He runs out, and then they just hop in another one.
You know what? I want to put requests in for a couple of lore pods because we've got to get to the part 2 of the heresy and get
and then
through
we got
that.
October coming up, so orcs.
Yeah, Orktober lore.
And then we got Hive Cities.
Right. So I was going to say, these are the requests I'm putting in. I want to know about Hive Cities and various other things that are maybe downplayed a little bit.
How so?
That make things grimdark. Well, I didn't know anything about the Hive Cities, right? We're getting so far off here. Now we're just navel-gazing at our own show.
We'll bring it back. Don't worry. What are you saying?
I'm coming back in a second. But I want to know about just
what makes
the tech of the Imperium, and how all these like servo skulls and how things are powered and how there's not like they don't have any computer chips as I understand it.
Oh my sweet summer child.
Oh man. Gene Stealer Cult got a big rule change.
Really?
So you played them recently.
Oh gosh.
You couldn't keep them dead, right?
They were bringing stuff back all over the place, and they were deep striking, and the demolition charge is nasty.
So the demolition charge is going to change, I think.
I think it's called a Gene Stealer Nexus, and it makes it even punchier.
Did it do mortal wounds?
Dude, it did mortal wounds.
Okay.
It was a bucket of dice, knocked out my war boss, and 10 knobs in one hit. It was insane. And he just rolled all 6s. Dude.
Casey tells a long game story at 0.4 of 12. Anyway, it's going to be more difficult for Gene Stealer Cult to bring things back.
Okay.
They actually added a die roll to the thing.
Interesting.
And I think you either have to roll 5 or 6 to get the guys back. And you get a +1 to that roll if they die in the first or I think the second battle round. And then after that, it's just naked 5 or 6. And it could be 6. Correct me in the comments. But it's going to make it way more difficult for Gene Stealer Cult to just keep bringing those dudes back over and over and over again. And bringing their demolition packs
another thing,
fresh.
They have something called Aberrants, and I think it is a 4-up feel no pain on them, and they're extremely tough. And just to get that wound through, and I think if you're talking about it, devastating wounds and feel no pains have kind of hit a certain change there, right?
Yeah, let's go ahead and knock that out while we're here.
So Custodes too.
So this is a major core rules change, and there's 3 of them, 4 of them on my list here.
Okay.
So previously, when something had devastating wounds, you would roll a 6 on the wound roll, and that would turn the damage of that attack into mortal wounds. And you would get the spillover effect, where you could shoot a tank gun at a bunch of infantry, roll a 6, and then that one shot would just spill off over into everything, and you could wipe out big chunks of stuff with sort of thematically inappropriate weapons, right?
Oh, okay.
And so now they've changed it. Now, if something has devastating wounds, it no longer does mortals, but you just don't get a save.
Isn't it the same? Well, I guess that
no,
you can't use an invuln save.
No, you can't use any save. You just don't get a save. You just take the damage. The thing is that the damage doesn't spill over. So if I hit you with one shot that does 12 damage,
yes,
and I shoot it into a orc boy, well, that one dude doesn't get a save, and he gets turned into a green mist. But it does not. It does not turn into
damage. Doesn't splash over.
Right. It doesn't turn into mortals, which it had been doing, and so people were doing things like taking their Wraith Knight and rolling 2d6 of damage into a big old block of infantry and just wiping the whole thing using a fate die to get the the 6 on the wound roll to guarantee that spillover. So now we're not doing that anymore, and that's probably better.
That's fair, because if you roll like feel no pains, then you still have to take the ones that, you know.
Well, you're still going to get your feel no pains, which, of course, in the example I gave, that orc boy is not going to make 12 feel no pains, and where is he getting them from?
Exactly.
But that's beside the point. The point is that thematically it makes more sense that anti-tank weapons should not splash into infantry. Because otherwise, what are we saying? Are you hitting me with a cannonball and all my dudes are lined up, ducks in a row style? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I totally get you. Like an anti-infantry weapon would be an anti-infantry weapon. An anti-tank for tanks, that's what it is. One model for one shot, a bunch of hits for like smaller stuff. Yeah,
yeah, and it keeps from getting that feel bad moment where it's like, okay, he's going to fire a big shot, but it's just one shot. Everything's fine. Oh no. He rolled a 6 on the wound, and now my entire squad is dead.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
Don't make no sense. Let's see. What else we got? So let's just knock out the core rules while we're here. Okay. Towering got changed.
What?
So, towering. The towering keyword that knights and other big chonkers had.
What was it before?
Before, it used true line of sight over ruins.
Okay.
Okay? What that meant was... so.
If there's a ruin between you and me, and you're a knight, you can hit me.
Exactly, because it feels a little bit buried in the rules for the ruins. But in case you guys don't know, obscuring in 9th edition is still a thing.
It is.
In the case of ruins, if you have something behind the ruin relative to the shooter, if it's not visible around the footprint of the ruin, then you can't target it.
Huh.
Okay? Towering bypassed that entirely. So what you could do is you could have your knight standing on the far end of the table and say, well, you're using some little short ruins, and I can draw line of sight from a bolt head on my head to the tippy top of your tendril. And that means I can shoot you even though you've got him hidden behind everything. They've got rid of that. Now you can actually hide stuff behind ruins, and you can do the same with knights, because the knights had a little bit of a problem, even though they're quite powerful, and they did get a points increased, which I think is going to hurt them quite substantially. There's also one other thing that I'm going to get to while we're touching on knights.
Okay.
But you're now going to be able to hide your knights. So especially people like myself, I want to get a knight abominant, the big one, the big chaos knight.
Big boy.
Yeah, because I think he'd be so cool to take with Abaddon and everybody, and we just have this thing trucking through, right? It's essentially just a walking tank.
Yeah.
Because you don't get any of the rules with it, right?
Yeah.
But people haven't been having a lot of success with that because you can't hide them.
Because they're knights.
Because the towering means that they can't...
They can be shot at.
Yeah, they can be shot at if they're hidden behind a ruin in the same way that they can shoot through the ruin, you see? But now it works both ways, so you can actually hide your knights, which is nice. Now, last thing about knights...
Is it though?
They no longer bounce their bondsman abilities between their little knights and themselves. So the big knights now don't have as many abilities on every turn.
Yeah.
And then finally, knights can't overwatch anymore.
Yes. Yeah. Clap. Clap. Everyone in the comment section better clap. Right now. Tell me why that's good, Shane.
Just because it took... I mean, in my opinion, just because it took too long.
I'm a little biased.
It's so many shots, man. It's just so many shots.
And auto-deleting stuff in your enemy's turn.
Yeah, and you know what? We can get into this because we've got time, but I think that Overwatch should work differently with
Flamers?
Yeah, with flamers. What's it called? Torrent weapons. Yeah. I think Torrent and Overwatch should work differently because I think that it is not equitable in power level that 1 CP is 6s to hit on whatever you got. Except the Flamer, it's the same 1 CP and you're 100%.
Now, I think that Torrent and Overwatch actually do go well together. I think it's kind of a big brain move. And then you got units like that new Psychophage that's pretty much all it has to really do damage with an attack. I fought one during my Tyranid game, and if I'd got hit by it, it would have been devastating, but I would have understood. Now, Knights, the AP on their flamers and the damage they're dealing,
and the strength on their flamer,
and the strength is devastating.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is, if I roll 24 shots of normal sort, then I'm scheduled to get 4 hits.
Average.
Yes. That's 1 out of 6 times 4. And you don't always get that. Obviously, sometimes it bounces both ways, right?
Yeah.
But then I still have a wound roll. So out of those 4, I'm going to end up with less, in all likelihood. Flamer.
Everything hits. Baby.
12 shots, 12 hits. Now we're going to wound roll, and that's whatever it is, right? And I just think for the same 1 CP that you're paying, those two things are far and away different.
Well, so usually flamers are meant to be anti-infantry. They're usually like strength 4, strength 5.
Yeah,
meant to take down weaker stuff. The AP is usually either 0 or 1, and out of most cases 1 if you're lucky.
Yeah, I get it, but my argument is that for a stratagem that everybody can use, it's almost not worth your 1 CP if you didn't bring a bunch of flamers.
Yeah, because if you're shooting like my boys, they're shooting sluggas, they only hit on 5s or 6s, and it's not that good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the only one saying it. I've heard these talking points from elsewhere that indirect and Overwatch, I mean not indirect, but Torrent and Overwatch are a bit funny.
Yeah. Okay, so let's roll into the next point. What do you got there, Shane?
Stratagem prices.
Ooh.
So this is an interesting thing.
What do we get?
So stratagems have got different types. And as long as I've been playing the game, which was 9th edition and now, unless you were playing Crusade, the type of stratagem, whether it was an epic deed or a battle tactic or whatever the heck the other ones are, didn't really matter. And now, characters and units with abilities that change the cost of a stratagem, unless specified by name, can only affect the cost of a battle tactics stratagem. So, that's like Overwatch, I think, is one.
Okay.
And I would have to look, because then it depends on what army's what, right? What this means is that there's been a lot of stuff getting free stratagems, and it doesn't specify what it is. And then people will spam their best one, which why wouldn't you, right? And now a lot of the best ones are not battle tactic, they're epic deed, they're whatever the others are. And so that's going to kind of it's a nerf to a lot of unintended synergies. Does that make sense?
Oh, you mean it's a nerf to all the people who big brain figure out the broken rule?
Well, there were just some stratagems that were very, very powerful, and then you could take a fairly cheap character,
and then
you could have
0 CP.
Yeah, and often it'd be 0 CP and used a second time in a turn.
Ooh,
right.
Gosh, that's
so it became really, really powerful in a lot of instances, and so they've changed the type of a couple of stratagems
to fight that.
Well, to sort of move them around a little bit, so that you can't I can't even think of the faction. I think it might have been Space Marines that had one, and now it is not a battle tactic, I think. I could have it. It's one way or the other. They either included it as one you can adjust or moved it out as one you can adjust. And there have been a few units that have had that change for that reason.
How's my rapid ingress doing?
I think it's still just 1 CP.
Yep. I think you're right.
And it's probably a battle tactic. So I guess somebody could make that cost more, but you never would, because by the time you use it, they're already there, and you're unlikely to use rapid ingress twice in a game.
Yeah, orc stratagems and core stratagems are pretty much all I use. Nothing really special. I mean, I've used tank shock. I love tank shock.
Tank shock is cool.
Man,
I like tank shock.
I love tank shock.
I like, I don't ever get to use tank shock because I don't have a lot of vehicles in my list. However, I do get a little bit of tank shock-like thing with my Raptors and Harkin.
Yeah.
Because when they charge, you roll, in my case, 11 dice if you got the whole squad. Yeah. On every 4+, you just take some mortals.
I figured you get some high off of that by proxy, because I use it on you so much.
Yeah, no, I mean it feels like tank shock or grenade.
Because I'm running a car park.
We need more grenades. I always forget about the grenades.
That is interesting. I forget that too.
It's good.
What units have grenade? I don't know.
Anything with a grenade keyword.
I know.
Probably all of your boys.
Nothing in orcs.
Are you sure?
I've looked.
I don't know.
I'll have to relook. Don't quote me.
All of my troops have grenade.
Add me in the comment section if I'm an idiot, guys. Come on.
Everyone tell Casey how his army works.
I'm more brutal than cunning. Folks. Come on.
While we're talking about stratagems, there's been a pretty major change to the insane bravery.
Really?
Yeah, so previously you could use insane bravery for 1 CP
auto pass
after you fail a morale test or leadership test. That's how you've been able to use it.
Now see, I thought it was you just use it.
Well, you could do either way.
Okay.
But no, it was. I believe it said after you fail a leadership test or a battle shock test, right? And now you have to do it before you roll, and you can only use it once per battle. I've been busy this week, but I feel like they also made it cost 2 CP now. So that means this unit has been decimated, but they're on the point. I need these 5 points.
Oh.
Now's the time.
Oh, no.
And it's your only time.
And you know my orcs, boy. Their leadership ain't so good.
They're not so hot. But more interestingly, like people playing the new Tyranid Codex and running one of those Battle Shock detachments.
Ooh, yes.
Oh, they could wreak havoc on everybody.
Man, when he said, hey, I have this thing where I can make you take a Battle Shock test to every unit once
You're like,
per
oh
game.
no.
Dude, I was mortified. I was so scared.
Yeah, I mean, even when you have an attached character, you're looking at 6, right? Or 7.
7 up.
Yeah, that's
usually
tough.
with all my orcs.
That's tough.
That is tough.
So those are the core rule changes, I think. Let me see here. Oh, there was one very interesting point, and it was buried in the rules commentary, which you can check out on Warcom in the download section. And it was marked in red. There was one other thing, but it was not terribly confusing. It was just a bit of clarity on a rule. However,
what is it?
There's been question about what eligible to shoot actually means. And they finally said, if something has already shot, it is no longer eligible to shoot. So this affected Tau because they have their guiding thing, and there was all this, is it eligible to shoot even after it's shot? Yeah. And that had to do with like daisy chaining guiding, I think. I don't know anything about Tau.
I don't really either, but,
I know they're communist.
They suck, so hashtag sorry not sorry. Look, I'll jump on the meme train any day of the week, baby.
Bless them.
Oh, man. But I've been there with that whole shooting thing. I miss actions from 9th. Now it's like to do certain objectives or secondaries that you draw on a tactical, you are on an objective, and that unit cannot shoot and cannot charge. I'd rather just say, hey, they're doing an action.
I mean, but it was the same.
It's easier to remember.
But it was the same thing.
It is the same thing. They just don't call it an action anymore. That bugs me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I think it's for brevity's sake. And I mean, I say that. The core rules in 10th are shorter in the book than they were in 9th.
But they're a little vague.
However, they're a bit vague. And so we have this giant rules commentary document that you need for all the edge cases.
Yes.
And it's like, I understand why it says, in inverted commas, an action means they can't shoot or charge. They're doing the thing, right?
Yeah.
But if you recall in 9th, when you were learning what the heck an action was, then you had to go in the book and figure out what an action was because they had it defined. And it's like, well, where the heck does it define what an action is? So now we've taken that out, you see.
Yes.
And I think that's better. I like any time that I don't have to go and track down a thing.
Yeah, fair. I just don't like having to keep up with the fact that these guys are going to do this thing. They are not going to shoot, and they're not going to charge, and then the shooting phase comes, and I forgot. Or the charge, I get through the shooting phase, and I go to the charge phase, and I forget.
Yeah, well, it sounds to me like you need some tokens, son. Sounds like
I'm not a GSC player.
Sounds like you need some action tokens and some Battleshock tokens. Maybe you can get on the Etsy and track down some little. You know what's the clear plastic ones? Those look good.
I don't know. Moving on.
What else we got? Death Guard.
You have been eager. What happened?
Some say that they've got good.
Yes.
So a couple things have happened. One, they've gotten cheaper. The points have helped them, so you can bring more of your stinky boys.
Good.
And more crucially,
wounds.
They're No. Yeah, you know. So Chef from Tabletop Tactics had the idea that the way to help Death Guard was just make all the infantry 3 wounds and put a 5-up invuln on all the vehicles. And that would probably work.
Yeah.
Because you know, the math of damage works so that a 3-wound model is quite a bit harder to kill than a 2.
So did they do that?
They did not do that.
Oh, no.
What they did, though, is they gave them
stinkiness.
They gave them new stink. So all of their plague auras now, at the beginning of the battle, you can choose one of 3 things to happen. And they still do -1 toughness if you're in the plague aura, right?
Oh, no.
But then you can pick, I think there's like a +1 to hit, or maybe there's a 4 pinball or something like that, and then I think there may be +1 to wound.
Ooh.
Right? So you can get situations where like you're wounding all kinds of stuff on 2s because of the -1 toughness and the +1 to wound. And then it's, you know, moving the plague auras around is not that difficult.
Yeah.
Relatively speaking. There are those that think that they're going to be the new hotness. I don't see how they unseat Aldari with them just being able to say, I got a 6 on the wound. Here comes a bunch of damage. You don't get a save. Right? And I don't know, because Necrons are ridiculously tough, and they're the other ridiculously tough, slow-walking army. And it's like, I haven't seen a good...
I'd love to play him. Dallas, come at me.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, he will, and you'll be like, wow, okay, that was... Those guys were really hard to kill. And the other day when I was watching that game, the homie Dallas was rolling disgustingly.
Oh, yeah?
Just...
All 6s?
Just gross. 5s and 6s. 5s and 6s. 5s and 6s. It was ridiculous. I was like, this isn't even fair. He's like, yeah,
wow.
This is.
So I gotta ask,
just handfuls of saves.
I
5s
gotta
and 6s.
ask, Votann.
Votann got a buff. They now get to put some judgment tokens on units, sight unseen, at the beginning of the battle, which is the way it should have been. That's the way it was in 9th, I think. I think it was. Anyway, the issue with them is that they hit on 4s, which makes no sense.
Because they're a shooty army.
Right, but then the first judgment token makes you hit on 3s, which is fair, right? The problem was that your Carl could give a judgment token to something he could see. One of them. And if his head is poked out, then he's going to die. Yeah. So now you start the thing, and I think you get 4 judgment tokens that you can dish out. And I want to say it may start them on 2, which means they're +1 to hit, and I think +1 to wound. I could be wrong about that. But it's going to make them much more spicy at the beginning of the game. Spicy. You know, all those kind of abilities that make you better as you lose are a bit... It's kind of like they can never make you good enough to take care of just having less activations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tau has that thing going on. Like, they get better later in the battle, but by the time by the time they're as potent as you need them to be,
you're already in charge range. They're already gone.
Well, yeah, and it's like there aren't enough of them left to matter, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm finding in this new 10th edition that I love to play characters so much. At this point, I have a character attached to everything that can have a character attached.
I love my Death Killer War Track.
And I'm way down on units total. Because, like...
yeah.
Like...
After you fought me, you learned your lesson.
Well, what I'm saying is... if I wanted to do a gambit, because the gambits require 4 or 5 units to be alive by the end...
Yes.
I would have to be doing that in turn 1. I would have to be circling the wagons, trying not to let anything die, so that I can do this gambit by turn 3, because I just don't have enough individual units to do these actions, right? And I think that's catching a lot of stuff out, because the synergies with the abilities of leaders is cool, and leaders are cool, and we all want to have our big, chunky, cool-looking models. However, this creates a situation where a lot of points are being taken up in these attached characters, which cuts your number O units down to a point that you just don't have that many. And so stuff like your Tau, stuff like your Votan, by the time some guys have gotten killed, that's a not insignificant part of your army that cannot then be buffed by whatever it is that they do when stuff dies.
Agreed.
What else? I think...
That's everything?
I think that's everything. I'm sure I missed stuff.
Hey, man, I think you did great.
There's interesting points, things that happened. Some stuff got cheap. Some got expensive.
Yeah.
I feel like something happened to demons. I don't know.
Do people play demons?
I saw a guy playing demons, and they looked so cool.
Ooh.
He had not the Keeper of Secrets, but what's the other, like, hermaphrodite-looking thing?
Oh, you're talking about the one for Slaanesh?
Yeah.
Greater Demon of Slaanesh.
No, this was a named character.
Oh, but was it for Slaanesh?
Yes.
Oh gosh,
because it was a big girly man with wild dreads or something.
Oh my god.
Anyway, it was really cool, and he's playing Tau. Got in there and just chopped stuff up, chopping, son. Hard to target.
Well, Tau have never been good at melee, and now you're saying that they've been basically turned into a late-game army, which is when a lot of fighting and charging happens. So I'm willing to bet that is not doing so hot for them.
Well, it didn't work out that time. However, that was before the balance change, so we will see what happens to the Tau now. What could become of the greater good? Have they gotten to be good? We'll see, and we'll talk about it next time. We're about out of time, Casey.
Yeah, make sure to comment and at Shane about everything he got wrong.
That's right.
Get him.
Tell me how dumb I am, because I need to know so that I can, just continue to do what I do.
Yeah.
But check us out on YouTube. We're on YouTube now. We apologize for this one coming out a day late. I was very busy. But we'll be back next Friday. Everywhere you get your podcasts. I've been Shane.
And I'm Casey.
And we'll see you.
Peace.